Odd morning, our hummingbird is bravely, with 4 dogs going in and out of the entrance, she's bravely sitting on her nest up in there. Not right now. She flew away. But let's see if we got any eggs in there still. Or are there little babies in there? I think there's 2 little babies in there. How cool is that? Come on, Bentley. Come on, guys. Let's leave her alone. So these guys run in and out under her, and we walk in and out, and she does fine. She's hatched her babies. Beautiful. I send her calming energy, and just love, and don't focus too much on them. Just let them have their private space. Hey, that's a great way to raise kids. Which brings us to the topic, SLAVEBOT programming, particularly around economics. So Joy was just sleeping in a little bit. And she says, I still have that programming. I look at the clock and I go, shit, I should be up and doing something. I'm sleeping in late. This is one example of the programming that especially white Protestant, well, it's not Chinese, it's Japanese, they're nuts, about working hard. The whole military thing about you got to be productive, you got to get up, you got to be programmed to be productive. Why? Because the slaves need to show up at the factory on time or at the bank job where they're handling the big people's money, even though and they get a little bit of the hook. I'm a banker. No, you're not. You're a slave bot. You're a teller. You're totally owned. So I remember out here in Arizona, a lot of people retire out in Sun City. And I remember doing a job for a guy. I used to have a little video production company. And for their country club golf course, he wanted me to film each hole and make like a presentation video to recruit new members. And I remember, I could feel it in him. His programming from his whole life, usually you put men in the army, and then that programming goes so deep that then they can't stop it. It's like the Sorcerer's Apprentice with Mickey Mouse, where you get the brooms all sweeping up the water for you, but they get out of control or filling the water, and you lose it. The programming takes over. The robot goes crazy. The robot is on automatic, just doing what they do forever and ever. And that's exactly how we program humans. This man out at the country club in Sun City, as soon as it hit 12 noon, he had changed it. It used to be at 5:30. Then it's okay to drink. It's okay to drink at 5:30. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Country songs programming you. But because he was retired now, he still get up at like 5:30. Can't stop it. It's like the Titanic. You can't stop it. It takes whatever it took, 20 miles or 10 miles to even stop the Titanic or to turn it around. That's how much programmed momentum on purpose that you put into the masses. So they are perfect. So we are slave bots, economic slave bots. Slavery hasn't ended. It just included everyone now in little cubicles. Not everyone, but that model. A lot of people are getting free. It's beautiful. I'm pretty free, but I had to say no to all that for about 20 years. I had to undo the programming. You got it in your tissues. Our beautiful girl here, I mentioned it before, Miley, which I don't see her right now, our golden retriever, we adopted her at 3 years old. So she came in with programming, imprinting, Pavlovian imprinting, which is exactly what happens to humans. I just watched a woman up at the grocery store shaming her, shaming her boy, imprinting him with "you're so stupid" or whatever. And I didn't intervene. What I do is I ask God, what would you do here, God? And God says, nothing. That's karma they're working out. So Miley here, our mother matriarch, This one right here, Mama Matriarch. She likes me to touch her belly. She came with a very strong imprinting, and somehow someone had beaten her or shamed her about going to the bathroom, like I mentioned in the last video. Taking about 3-4 years for it to go where she can finally relax, so that right after she poops, she doesn't run away in terror for the stick is going to hit her. This imprinting is deep. It is not intellectual. Humans have the added baggage of thinking that, oh, I understand the concept, Tobias. Oh, that makes sense. I'm Dr. Dinkeldorker at the professor here of, obviously we're seeing our universities decay into dogmatic ideologues that don't even allow free speech anymore. Intellectual understanding it's not even the booby prize. It is a complete fail if that's all you do. If you don't apply the intellectual understanding, you got the blueprints, you're never building the house. Big deal. It's a pipe dream. It's just, I imagine peace and light on the planet. But if you don't heal your tissues, your imprinting, you're not helping much. A little bit, holding the right idea. But ideas and idealists, the road to hell is paved with good ideas, good intentions. So this programming, what I had to do when I was going through the deprogramming, took me about 3 years to do basic society, economics, SLAVEBOT, all that guilt, that shit you got to go to the Thanksgiving dinner. On Friday night, you got to go drinking and partying or else what's wrong with you? It's like those drunks that go, why aren't you drinking with us? You think you're better than us? This is all collective programming, and it's done in every community. In poor communities, they'll actually make fun of anyone trying to better themselves. Oh, you think you're too good for us, huh? So we put this programming in, whether it's in the wealthy people, super poor people, different cultures. The Japanese are horribly programmed. The Chinese, Japanese, the thing about work and sacrifice. I mean, they got them to fucking be kamikazes during World War II. It was an honor to fly your body into an American ship. I mean, it's fucking nuts. Not that that's any different than us programming our soldiers that die for the oil cause. Yes, sir. Oh, my son's in the army. Well, you're an idiot. There's righteous war. But you're an idiot if you're sending them over there so Condoleezza Rice can have her name on an oil tanker and Dick Cheney can have his company, Blackwater, rape the American taxpayer while they created an artificial financial meltdown of the real estate market in America. You're a fucking idiot. You're actually sacrificing your sons for that garbage? Pat Tillman's story, look it up, right here local in Arizona. He was the real deal. He believed the programming, super football star for the Arizona State University, moved on to the Cardinals, and walked away from his multi-million-dollar a year contract to say, no, I want to go fight for America. He believed in the American scheme, dream. When he got over there, and he was the golden boy, Rumsfeld, and they were, look, you're the hero, he's such a hero. And then he gets over there and he starts realizing, this is bullshit. What are we doing this to these poor villagers for? For what? Well, they were monitoring him because he was the golden boy. Killed by his own guys. Fratricide. And they hushed it up. And the family very bravely tried to make a movie about it, how they're trying to hush it up. Didn't go anywhere. The media was told, don't talk about it. It appears in some art theater somewhere. But when he was the golden boy, and look how sacrificing he is for the country, they put that program, it was on every news station. The local idiots, the local news bots, any local news anywhere, they're just plastic readers. They went to journalism school and go, hi, look how pretty I am. I'm the Oriental girl. I'm the white blonde. And I'm the good-looking anchor. And I'm the old guy that puts gray hair in here so I look like I know something. And I'm the goofy sportscaster. If you don't think that's a fucking comic strip and you're being totally played, you're completely under mass media hypnosis still. So this programming is not easy to undo. If you get it intellectually, it's not the same as, like Joy's saying. It took me a while. I I had to go, okay, I'm going to sleep as long as I want. I didn't work for 2 or 3 years, right? I said, well, actually, I told God, the universe, if you can't take care of me, I don't want to be here. Now, it's only when you're ready to call these programs on the carpet that you should do it. It will create trouble for you if you're not ready. It's not easy in this world facing down the economic money monster, SLAVEBOT. Everybody is mostly worshiping money still. I was going to do a band when I was in my 20s. I would just call it X. I know somebody else is called X. But one of the things I was going to do is a giant stage show, or part of a song where we actually worship the dollar sign. We actually bow down to it. Our money, who art in ourselves. I was going to take the Lord's Prayer and convert it into worship of money. And our Pledge of Allegiance is, I pledge allegiance to the almighty dollar. Do it on stage. And then the coup de grace, to show people how much they worship money. At the end of the show, after everybody hopefully liked it, I was going to say, okay, we're taking up a collection for a local family. We would get whatever, a couple $100, $500, whatever, and people from the audience would give me. And this is to shock people. You get this? Shock therapy. This is Iggy Pop stuff. This is fucking... All right. And I was going to take the money up on stage and go, thanks, guys. And I was going to put it on a little pillar in a beautiful basket. I was going to set it on fire. How do you guys feel? You gave me your money. I fucking lied to you. Tricked you. Betrayed you. Well, that's one of the deepest things in our tissues, our money worship. And the programming is put in there, basically give the people coffee, so you stimulate them so they can get to work on time. Soon as they used to do this at the mines, the Pavlovian, you go out to coal mines in Wales, the steam whistle goes off, day's over, and the guys are like Pavlovian dogs with their lunch boxes and black faces. And what do you do immediately after that? Hit the pub. Hit the pub. Drink. So at the end of the workday, you are not conscious enough to ask why. Why am I the lab rat, literally expendable in the coal mine? What's going on here? No, don't want you asking that. So, and then you program the people with the churches to go, idle hands are the devil's playground. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, And so people never even get a choice. They're just imprinted by their parents, most people. And they just follow it. The correlation between the religion you're raised in and the one you end up is 90%. You think that has to do with free choice, free will, or imprinting, monkey see, monkey do. Programming, SLAVEBOT programming. So it's not easy to come out of this because it's very deep in you. Like Joy was just telling me, she said, I'm laying here going, I love it when you sleep in, Tobias, and I'm feeling all this guilt. Now I'm coming out the other end of it. I am setting my own disciplinary, what I choose. That's different. So when I decide it's summer, I want to get up earlier and I take a nap in the afternoon, I'm deciding. Not Edward Bernays, the guy who started advertising, PR firms, not the military, not the schools, not my parents, not my church. They aren't telling me what I should be. I am deciding what I want to be. But when you're first going to undo this programming, it's going to be like with Miley. Literally, one of Joy's family members literally has the same thing as Miley. Can't go to the bathroom. Unless it's at their safe toilet. They can't do it out in public. That's how bad, and that's the fear. That's the survival, fight or flight chakra. When soldiers are in war and the first time you get to see real battle, a lot of them just shit themselves. Because it's the fight or flight sphincter chakra that just goes, overwhelmed, scared, shitless. It's not accident we have these expressions. Many times the expressions carry a lot of truth in them. And of course that's where you traumatize, like the horrible pedophiles, the priests, the elite politicians. Not all of them. Again, there's very good politicians. Believe it or not, there are. Although right now, at this time, with the Trump-Russian hysteria, there's obviously like, wow, are these people... Yeah, it's their fears boiling to the surface. Their hatred, rage, fear, control. Totally played. Do you think hardly anyone in the media at this point, or in politics, do you think they're healed people? Look at them. They're acting like mean girls. They're turning on the one scapegoat. That's our politicians. It's unbelievably how incredibly programmed people are. And then it's amazing. So the only way for real freedom, it's not easy. It's not easy. I know maybe 2 people. Well, no, that's not true. I know a bunch of people that have come out of the matrix, but to master it's not easy, because you're literally like Miley, facing your imprinted terrors. And then the pharmaceutical companies go, oh, take a pill for the rest of your life. Let's make the money off of these fuckers. Right? Just shove your feelings down there, and then you wonder why your body finally can't hold it anymore, and it dies and checks out. It's a scary, scary thing. One of the things that some of the Taoists used to do on Huashan Mountain in western China, one of the things was you're sealed in a cave, a dark, completely dark cave for years, 1, 2, 3 years. You get some food delivered, but you never meet another human. It's across a river in the dark. To reflect your own imprints, to face them down. It turns into a natural ayahuasca ceremony where you face your monsters. Deng Ming Dao in the Wandering Taoist, or the Taoist Chronicles, talks about, literally it manifests as his brainstem fear, reptilian brainstem. Is it real? Yes. Is it real? No. Nothing's real, everything's real. It's our projections. He actually manifests some horrible, his fear, which is some reptilian monster, coming at him in the cave. When he's hitting the root of the terror stuff. In the reptilian brain. Same with St. Anthony, the first Catholic saint. There, he's sitting in an Egyptian cave, about 120 after Jesus has died. He's also known as Hilarion, which is an ascended galactic being. It's the same being. We have many lifetimes, many projections, actually. So St. Anthony is sitting there in his cave. Miley, it's okay. So Miley is the most barky because she has the most fear in her root chakra. Come here, Miles. So she will tend to be scared, want to bark at strangers, and it can be safe, overly safe. All these fences and guns and giant guns and nuclear weapons are manifestations of fear. Thinking I can protect myself if I have a bigger bomb or a bigger club than my projected scapegoat fear out there. And so she will infect her babies. So we've got little Allie thinking, well, that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to bark at people. Gab, gab, Gabby. And our job, it's my agreement with Gabby, is to help her not be that much that way. So, imprinting and SLAVEBOT programming is huge. We do it with our babies as soon as they're born. The old model, it's starting to shift now. Millions of us are ready. How do we let babies come into the world? This is why we created rebirthing, because we didn't know how to do the birthing correctly the first time. So we create rebirth. We need to go through that again, and this time, let's rewire you so your nervous system isn't totally freaked out. For many years, some of you, and your parents certainly, our modern hospitals, which are better than the farm, what a bunch of horse shit. Be much better to be born on the farm. So the baby would be born in a sterile environment that's way too cold. You're coming out wet. You're going to shiver. Bright lights? Are you fucking serious? This is the worst feng shui ever for baby birth. You're coming from a warm womb, dark, completely dark almost, environment. That's where we get this. We got a new hospital down the street that's taking a bunch of ambulance business. It's annoying. So we create that. It has to be an emergency, always. It's when they go by, when the cops go by, your nervous system is like, ugh. Why do you think they have Pavlovian training with ambulances? Because when I say they, the people that are so damaged themselves that they want to create World War III, the cabals, the financial people that think if we can control the whole world, then finally I'll be safe, which they won't be. They'll still die in their own terror. But they want the population in terror. Ambulances. What's that a subtle reminder of? That could happen to you. What's that accident? Oh, let's stop and gawk at the accident. Oh, I hope they're okay, but it's kind of, oh, I'm glad it's them and not me. Morbid fascination. All programming. When there's a riot, remember way back the LA riots, Rodney King stuff? When they would ask people, why are you breaking windows and stealing stuff? Or why are you, I don't know. Everyone was just doing it. 80% of the population is programmable mob. They don't have their own internal compass. And then about 15-20% of the population is, if they see a situation like that, they'll go, hey, stop. No, calm down. Stop. That's the reality of it. So, whether it's you're a guilty piece of shit, you're a lazy piece of shit because you're not getting up in the morning at the right time, and it works. If you notice, you get a perverse sense of satisfaction. It's like going to church. Afterwards, you have this sort of, I did something good. Satisfying your programming, you're still a slave. You get a little high. You're addicted to satisfying the programming because it's this neurotransmitter thing that when you satisfy the programming, you feel good. For a little while. Until it builds up and then you need to redo it. It's no different than needing heroin fixes. Satisfying your programming does get you high. For a while. And then you need to do it again. You're owned by it. Freedom is very different than being a perfect programmed, I was raised in the military, or my grandma raised me, and I go to church and I volunteer and I do the food bank. And I remember working with a business partner who was Catholic. And one day he said, well, my church commitment. Programming. They get you to commit, and you're not doing it out of free will. Living freely, that's why the master is not understood. Laughing on the way to your execution, people will consider you crazy. An unprogrammed human, a free human, we can't even allow free animals. We need to control them, shoot them, get rid of the wolves, suppress the fires. We can't even allow nature to be free because we can't allow ourselves to be free. Here comes another somebody dying from their programming. So at this time on earth, as the waters boil, which is the living spirit rising up, your programming is going to come to the surface for everybody. When water rises, everything gets wet. The water doesn't go, I'll leave that stone alone. No, everything gets wet. So as spirit rises on the earth, all your programming is going to be pushed on. Those people who have their identity, the unconscious beast inside them that they're not aware of, and they're scapegoating and blaming everybody else, or the politicians, or the government, or Trump, or Hillary, or whatever, those people are in for an increasingly horrible ride at this point. Because the water's rising. Most of those people are just going to check out. The loving thing is for them to die. So you need to allow for, move on. Live and let die. Let the dead bury the dead. You got to do it. You cannot rescue the drowning victims that want to die, or it's right for them to die. That's why Jesus says, every master says it. Shake the dust from your feet, let the dead bury the dead, get the fuck out of town, you're wasting your time. Wow. The Master Jesus? Mr. Gentle Sweetie Pie? Or Krishna, Mr. Gentle Sweetie Pie, saying, go cut their heads off. The whole battle, the pearl of great, jewel of the Mahabharata, I've told about it before, the jewel of the Mahabharata and the Indian, the most peaceful tradition ever. Krishna is like, no, go cut their heads off. You don't have to do that. But don't feed the monsters. Don't get focused on undoing your own programming if you're interested in that. And don't waste your blood or your lifeline. And it's not going to be easy. This is literally an internal, when some people say, Jesus says that we don't fight with physical things, we fight with principalities. Well, principalities is a allegorical way of saying demons or entities or subconscious patterns, imprintings in us that are in denial, in the dark, in the occult. Occult simply means hidden in our subconscious. That's why something like ayahuasca does. She goes, well, let's start cleaning out that basement that you've been dumping all your shit in for 30 years. Imagine someone eating TV dinners every night and just opening the cellar door and throwing it down there. What kind of toxic mess is growing down there? Well, that's pretty much every human. What kind of toxic mess is growing in your root chakra? Look at all that fucking unconscious porn that people hide from everything. The porn literally was the impetus for really the internet, or to help develop it. It didn't invent it like Al Gore. But that's how much suppressed energy we have. No one can stop you from undoing your programming. And it's there. And you can't intellectualize it away. You can't do it. You have to be completely honest. Get real to heal. What exactly am I feeling in this moment? People need military routine when they can't run themselves. Then so it has its place. You need to have rigid schedules. And most of the people that have them need them. Because left to their own devices, if they win the lottery, what happens? They drug and hire prostitutes or buy some shit they think is going to satisfy them, and they realize they're still not satisfied, and they most often end up in some kind of way of drugging themselves, either with pharmaceutical shit, oxycodone, oxycontin, actual liquor, or whatever. Heroin, Look at the opioid epidemic right now and all this, like in Mormon country. Opioid epidemic. Why? Because all this stuff is surfacing now. The water's rising. Your only chance is to learn to ride the tsunami, which is get real with exactly what's inside you. Cleaning the basement is not fun. It's overwhelming. Most souls in Earth today will not do it. They will be lovingly relocated to other star systems. You got to get honest with it. If you want healing. And there's nothing wrong. Not everyone should have healing. Not everyone should try the spiritual path. I was telling Joy that. I understand, honey. I'm a fanatic. I'm going for it. But I understand if someone says, look, I get it. It's too much. I'm just going to live out my life, enjoy stuff, and then die of some disease, which is the way. It's very loving, actually. Denial and disease is very loving. It's a way to make sure your soul doesn't keep ingraining these patterns for so long. Time to leave. Time to come back to the 4D, the astral, the heavens, the religions call them. Time to come back and go, wow, I forgot, I'm this eternal soul. That's what my dad told me, sitting in my friend's backyard. He showed up about 6 months after he had passed physically. He said, I can't believe I forgot. This is the place that's real. That little human lifetime was like a little burp, little bloop, and then I'm back here. That's it. But while we're here, we don't see that. So often the loving thing, you don't understand. Oh, we should keep everyone alive in horrible, what do they call them? Not retirement homes, but care facilities. Let's keep them alive when they're totally Alzheimer'd out. Really? That's kind of like Matrix hell, isn't it? Well, nature knows what she's doing, not doctors. A few doctors. And they're usually killed and suppressed. Look up dying microbiologists and natural health care practitioners that are discovering ways of actually healing people. They're actually being assassinated. It is not a conspiracy weirdness thing. Look it up. So, undo the imprinting in yourself. Obi-Wan Kenobi are our only hope. Undoing your imprinting in yourself is your only way to heaven. Obviously. If you don't clean the imprinting out, they own you. You can't relax. I caught one the other day in me. We're sitting at an outdoor shopping place here in Phoenix. And I'm like, wow, I could feel my father never being able to relax. And since I'm vibrating with his DNA, see, when you change it, this is why it affects generations back and forth in time. Your DNA affects those whose DNA you have. So you can heal them, or you can pass on, quote, as the Bible says, the sins of the father are visited upon the children for 7 generations. It's just spiritual physics. Get it right now. I open my ability to take the veil down and see behind the scenes. All right. There's a couple of points I missed. I get the inspiration but truth moment. Full conscious breath. On the out breath, you're relaxing, settling down into your ass. Asana, yoga asana means comfortable seat, comfortable with your dantian, your sex, your life gate, and your root chakra. From a comfortable seat on the throne, on your own kingdom, like Buddha and all masters do, from there you can have an effect more powerful on the world. If the antenna is aligned and you have 300,000 watts, you can broadcast more. If you're not tuned in, or you just have a little wattage, you're not settled, you don't have the power of your root chakra and your sex, you can't do anything. You're like, there's no power. You can't broadcast it. So, getting healed yourself is the primary. Truth moment. Drop the seed. What do you want? I know I don't really want World War III, but that's God's business in a sense. But I'm not telling what I want. I want free energy in my reality. It's okay, whatever others need to experience. I want wake up. I want no more slave bot in my universe, but I understand if others need to be slave bots. So vote with your own consciousness. Whatever you feel like you want. I want comfort and joy all the time. Christmas all the time. Permanent vacation all the time. I want to keep evolving into my freedom. Choose what you want. Full conscious breath. I connect to the pillar of fire inside me. Vote with your consciousness. Let's agree we want free energy. All the wars go away. Black oil is stupid. Free energy. You have no heavy garbage trucks. You have no traffic noise. No traffic noise. So, I don't like the traffic lately. Or the ambulances. We don't have all that death. Do you like death? Do you like the suffering? The only way you're going to change it is to change yourself. Get rid of your imprints. This requires self-feeling, feeling every moment all the time. Pray without ceasing. Now I'm going to get blamed like Trump. Seize up. Most people are in seizures all the time. Their minds are not calm. They're having mini epileptic hurry and worry and stress all the time. You can't think your way there. You have to face it, feel it, and free it. Breathe your feelings. Be at least as interested, in borrowing from Eckhart Tolle, as with what's going on your inside, actually more than what's going on the outside, because it's the inside that creates the outside. As within, so without. All right. Much love. It's going to be getting funkier and funkier as the boiling waters are going to boil people's stuff to the surface. It can be awesome, but if you resist, it's going to turn into hell for the people that are resisting. The people, like I started to say, they're stuck in their id entities, their identities. Just found a wallet. I'm going to call the guy so he can get his identity back, and his pictures of his grandma and stuff like that. Maybe I shouldn't. No, it's the Social Security number. You got to have that. Jesus, where's your Social Security number? What's your bank account? What's your ID? What's your password? Jesus. It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Our current culture, our current programming of making slave bots, it's the Matrix. It's not easy to get out. It's going to kick your ass and fight you. It's what David Icke used to call the hassle-free zone. If you stay as a good programmed slave bot sheeple cattle, you're not hassled. Here you go. Here's your Medicare. Here's your Medicaid. Here's your free drugs paid for by taxpayers. Go to sleep. You'll just be like drugged. If you try to get free, they're going to go, why? Why are you doing that? Joy's getting a knee operation, and they ask her every time, what drugs are you on? She goes, none. And they can't believe it. They ask you 2 or 3 times, there's really no drugs you're on? No. That's how prevalent the drugging, the zombification of the West, especially America. For some reason, we're the first in the best and the worst. Much love. More to come. You can do it. By the way, I'm going to be doing the courseofawakening.com retreats online. Now, you can come to Sedona and hang out in person, or you can do it online. We're going to do a webcast. We're going to do it for the 2 days of those weekend seminars. You can just watch it at home on your TV or your computer. So we're going into that. It's easier to do. If you haven't started your own healing, the innerbodyawakening.com is the best in my world. But I'm right. That Shiva created a long time ago to get grounded. Somebody was asking on YouTube, how do I know I'm actually doing it? Well, you need to have you need to know that you know. When you feel energy, you know when you know. Otherwise, it's just spinning in mental land, like theory professors at the university. Obviously, that's totally breaking down now. There's no real search for truth. They don't even allow free speech on universities anymore. It's holy fucking monkeys. Crazy, insane. And the webcasts every Sunday, I recommend, if you want to, well, we do it, where 2 or more are gathered, where people are gathered with like intention. It does help. It does help to be around people with, you're inspiring me and I'm inspiring you, and that makes sense, I'm not alone. It does help. So the webcasts, also at courseofawakening.com, look at the webinar webcasts every Sunday. And those are totally affordable, $15, $20. So much love, more later.